going, YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy from Not for Resale. There's a couple things that have been sort of floating around the YouTube community lately that are kind of interesting, and I have a couple theories about it. Now, I don't know basically from first-hand knowledge because I haven't dealt with these guys, but lately, Scoop 208 and Brody Trump and Detroit Sneakers, or Detroit Kicks, have all sort of had a partnership for the past few years. Now, Scoop is basically the figurehead of a lot of it. So Scoop has, a very loyal following, very faithful following, both on YouTube and on Facebook, and he has given his stamp of approval on certain sites. The sites in particular we're going to be speaking about are sneakerlove.com and also Detroit Kicks. So Detroit Kicks, they do pre-orders. They also do ATC, which are add to cart bots, and they guarantee legitimate pairs of shoes. Now, Scoop has done business with them for a few years now. I would say probably about 2 years now, and he gives them the stamp of approval. So Scoop, if he gives the stamp of approval, a lot of his followers and subscribers to his channel will say that, I trust Scoop, so I trust them. So the same sort of thing has been going on with sneakerlove.com. So sneakerlove.com does the exact same thing. They do pre-orders, they also do ATCs, and Scoop has given them a stamp of approval. Now, the figurehead of Sneakerlove is a person who goes by the name of Brody Trump. Now, Brody Trump is an alias. His real name is actually Tashim Stratton. They've ran ATCs and they've ran bots and that sort of thing. And they ran a specific one on zebras. So the zebras that came out the past, few months, probably about a month and a half ago, they did a pre-order for those. They didn't end up getting the pairs. So there was a problem with the website. They said that, that the pairs that people had ordered didn't come in because they had too much ordered. There was just a huge bulk order and a backlog of what they were able to do. So they took in thousands and thousands of dollars on these pairs of shoes. So 3 weeks after the release, nobody still had shoes, and people started to go and question whether they were legit or not. So Sneaker Love goes and starts to send out pairs of shoes. The public had been, up in arms about it because there was no shoes coming, but they had paid for shoes. So they start to send out zebras and that sort of thing. And when they go to send out zebras, they go and they send out fake pairs. So the fake pairs that they sent out, people that had ordered them sat over here and said, well, these are not legit shoes and we want to get our money back. Well, what ended up happening is basically Brody Trump released a press or a comment in a post that said, I'm very sorry about the pairs of zebras. It took so long to get them. We had a lot of ordered. And the person that I normally go through didn't have all the pairs that we needed, so we had to go and use a third party to go and get these pairs. He didn't disclose who the third party was. He didn't say where the shoes had came from, but he said that he had done legit business with them before. So what ended up happening is he basically passed the buck. He said, well, the person that I got them from mixed in some UAs, which are unauthorized authentics, in with the actual legit pairs of zebras. So some people ended up getting zebras that were authentic, and then some people ended up getting UA zebras, which were unauthorized authentic, which in the sneaker community are considered to be fake. And according to a comment or post that happened on the 27th of March, there was a person who notified Scoop. Scoop basically, was doing a lot of the crowd control or crowd maintenance, if you will, of the situation, because he was partnered up close with them. So he sent an email or he sent a Facebook message to Scoop, and Scoop said that, we're going to get you the refund. I'm sorry that you got a fake pair, and if you want to get this refund, you need to send back the pair that was fake. So what ended up happening is that he told the guy, or the guy told Scoop, that he didn't want to send back the pair because if he'd send back the pair, then they would just go and sell it to somebody else, and then somebody else is stuck with a fake pair. The one bad thing about the whole refund process is that the people who ended up getting, shafted on the zebras, they didn't offer them a refund. What they did offer them is this: they offered them an HEC bot to hit Jordan Royal ones, and then they also offered them the ATC and legit pairs of the white V2s that are going to be dropping later on this month. So at the end of the day, if I want zebras, I don't want the white ones. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I want zebras, maybe I don't want the white ones, or maybe I'd rather just have my money back instead of using your foo-foo service. Just give me my money so I can take my money where my money's good. And you weren't doing that. So I mean, once again, that's another that's another shot in the face, because you're taking my money and then you're telling me you're not going to give it back to me, but hey, I'll make it up to you because I'll get you this pair. What happens if those white V2s are worth the same amount as breads? Are you going to accept a bread V2 over a zebra at this point, given the value difference? Don't worry, I'll wait for the answer. Oh, you already answered it? Yeah, me too. I answered it even before I asked the question. I answered that. So, no, I'm not going to take bread V2s over zebras. That makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. That's like you telling me, or you selling me a pair of, KD6 peanut butter and jellies when I asked for a pair of KD4 Weathermans. They're both KDs, though. Aren't they worth the same? No. And sneakerheads know that. They pay thousands of dollars for zebras. You know what I mean? They pay thousands of dollars for a shoe, and they want that shoe. They don't want another shoe. And if you can't get the zebras, then refund the people the money. Don't sit over here and say, I'm going to give you a consolation prize of Royal Ones and a pair of white V2s. That's not what I'm here for. If I go to the doctor to get a prescription filled, or I go to the doctor because I have an ear infection, it gives me no joy for him to cut me a prescription for Preparation H. My ass don't hurt. I got an ear infection. I need some antibiotics, man. I don't want your consolation prize. I wanted this, and if you can't give me that, then give me my money back. The other aspect of that is Brody Trump. Nobody's ever seen this guy. Nobody knows his face. He doesn't have a profile picture. He has nothing. Which leads the question to say, is Brody Trump Scoop 208? Maybe. Honestly, I don't believe that Brody Trump and Scoop 208 are the same people. But it's not too far-fetched to say that, that could be a possibility. So, upon doing further research of the people who got the fake pairs and that sort of thing, they started to look for this Brody Trump character, and he's gone. Like, he is gone. Now, Scoop is so large that his following is so large on his Facebook group that has over 80,000 members, his YouTube channel that has over 200,000 subscribers. You're not hiding. We've seen you on video 1,000 times. Like, there's no way you're gonna run around and hide. So at the end of the day, Scoop is probably gonna take the fall. The interesting thing about that is I think that Scoop knows that. And the reason I think that Scoop knows that is because recently he started to post videos saying that he was going to be selling off his collection. Now, why would you, if you're Scoop, why would you sell off your collection to fix another person's mistake? One, we know that you back this person. We know that you say that he's legit. And, the fact remains that, he's probably not legit. That's not to say that he hasn't done legit business in the past, but his current actions are saying that, you might not be as legit as Scoop led on to believe. So, Detroit Kicks and SneakerLove.com basically got their following from Scoop's subscribers and from Scoop's Facebook page, because he said basically, I'll vouch for these guys. These guys are legit. So I understand where you feel like you're involved and you might want to issue a refund or that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, it's not really your place to fix all of that. And if Brody Trump is completely off of the map, if he just can't be found, then Scoop is going to wear that. Like, Scoop is really going to sit over here and have to try and find these people's money. If not, Scoop is really going to be, pretty much not in the sneaker community anymore, because once you're exposed as a person who sells fakes or a person who does not do legit business, there's really no place for you anymore. Another interesting thing is Scoop is selling his collection, but buyer beware. If you've been associated with UAs and you're selling off samples, if you're selling off T-Rex LeBron samples at $250, if you're selling off Tarazi LeBron samples for $350, people have to question the legitimacy of those sneakers. So this is twofold. One, you need to sell off your collection so you can, try and fix this situation to try and, save face at some point. Two, I'm your size, Scoop, but how can I feasibly purchase from you knowing that I might get a fake pair? How do I know that you're going to refund me my money if it is said fake pair? So at the end of the day, it's quite a pickle. It's quite a pickle that you're in. I'm sorry this is happening to you. I'm sorry that the guilty parties are not really around, and Scoop is going to take the fall. But if you endorse a product, and that product turns out to be basically BS, at that point you should be held accountable for endorsing said product. So, if I go and buy something from somebody because my friend has told me that they're legit, and then they become not legit, I'm going to first contact the person to try and make it right, but at the same time, I'm going to contact my friend who pointed me in that direction to say, your boy is not shooting straight dice. Like, he's just not. So I don't see how you're not going to, just wear that L, Scoop. And it's sad, because I know you've been collecting sneakers for a long time. You have a really, really faithful following. And the reason of bringing this all to light is, you want to trust the people that you deal with. And if you're just going by a word of mouth, this person's legit because a professional YouTuber has told me that they're legit, you kind of need to protect yourself still. So, if you go into, gifted payments, if you go into Western Unions and that sort of thing, you don't have the ability to really reverse those charges. So if you are buying sneakers and you are buying, from legitimate sites that people say that are legitimate, make sure you're protected, and just because you did, or just because somebody who's done good business with them, still do your reconnaissance, still make sure that you check all their references, still make sure that you go through and do your due diligence, because at the end of the day, it's your money. So, we don't know if Brody Trump and Scoop 208 are the same people, but it could be possible. It could be possible, because it kind of seems like Scoop is a spokesman for it. So, if you're having a tough time going through that situation, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. That's one of the worst things that can happen in the sneaker game. There's a lot of bad stuff that happens, but that is right up there with the worst. There's a guy on YouTube, his name is Franchise Kicks, and if you haven't seen his channel, check it out. He goes very, very in-depth with it. He was on the inside ground floor of it. He had been one of the people who was speaking out against it, because he had friends that went through the site long before this zebra situation that said, these are not legit. And he even messaged Scoop and said, Scoop, if they're not legit, but you're still, backing them, why? Why, if you're a legitimate person, why are you backing illegitimate people? So there's a lot of emails in there that are going back and forth, and Facebook messages and direct messages and that sort of thing that are going back and forth on the story. So definitely check that out. That's Franchise Kick, and I'll link that video in the description below as well, so you can get a more in-depth look at it. And I would say that at the end of the day, protect yourself. And it's going to be tough to say this, but man, even in these times, catch football's not feelings.